Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about matriarchy versus patriarchy. Again, this is just kind of setting the foundation for personal transformation. If you can understand these concepts and constructs and how they're affecting you on each and every level of life, it's easier to navigate the waters if you can see the map of the waters. So we covered, input through, food and making sure you clean that mess up. Hi, babe. How you doing, girl? How appropriate. She's like, hey, I'll get in on the matriarchal video. Heck yeah. So the cat. Oh, hey, that was a nice gracing thing. YouTube's probably like, you're never gonna get monetized, lady. That's fine. I'm cool with it. So, this is a great place to start. It's called Before War. I know it's backwards on there, by Elisha Daeva. And, oh good, my other kitty is doing something really constructive. Okay, we're good. Nothing. Nobody's hurt. She's good. She's taking a drink. I don't know what the clink was. All right. So the patriarchy versus the matriarchy. Obviously, we know what the patriarchy is doing and what it does. Now, the origins of this are going to be really difficult to digest. Again, trigger warning. So this is going back to before Eden. She's getting into something. So, before Eden, what was there? Do we even know? No, because the patriarchal system doesn't want you to know what was there before. I'll give you a clue. Okay, I've already given you a few clues, but maybe you haven't quite milled it enough yet to turn it into some wheat and baked bread. So, when we have a system set up where we're not allowed to know the truth, and we're digging and we're trying to put all the pieces together and whatever else, it's not going to hit us directly as we would like it to. Nobody's going to come out and tell you this ever, under any circumstances, because the implications of it on your psyche are a little bit damaging. So I'm going to need you to really buckle up for this. So I've kind of hinted at this already, and I'm not sure if those seeds have quite made it there yet. And this book scatters a lot of those seeds for you without coming out and saying it directly. So before the infiltration of the garden, if you will, there was no sex. So I've hinted at this before with the chromosomes, the Y chromosome going extinct. Okay. You have to ask yourself, if it's going extinct, how did we get to this point where it could go to extinct? Now, on a mental, psychological level, we very much understand that they are not only becoming semi-useless in society, they're now damaging it to the point of no return. Now, that's one aspect of it, but they have a specific job to do, and they're doing it very well, which is to enslave the humankind, to enslave. Okay? This is why I get frustrated with people who are tot Nietzsche. I'm like, did you really read us? Did you listen? Did you process what that man was trying to say? Go back and reread it. Go back and reread it. That man was so anti-slave master. And when he said God is dead, he was begging and pleading on his knees for you to process that information. So we had to state the obvious. So, let's not hate on the man with the stash, okay? He's one of those brave people that understood, comprehended, and was trying to gift us this. And it's been referenced in several movies. I'm going to take my shades off because I don't need them. Oh, my incense went away. So, what we're on the precipice of here is understanding that the Y chromosomes are the aliens, kids. The Y chromosomes are the aliens. Now, that doesn't mean that the Y chromosomes need to be, no. It's just they have a particular program that goes with them that it has reached its point of any sort of potential. And now is not serving the ecosystem here. Right, Vicious Savage? And I have a boy dog. I mean, I have, it's just, I don't hate all men. It's just we have to start being honest with ourselves about what the F is actually happening. Now, all you are going to come at me and say, oh my God, women do it too. Women, blah, blah. Okay, so if any of you understands what Stockholm Syndrome is, or you've watched, I think it's a German movie. It usually always is. But don't quote me on it. Le Wolf, which sounds French. The Wolf, I think is what the translation of the title, but I'm pretty sure it's all in Germany. It's all in German. I'm pretty sure of that. But it's which is weird because the Jews in the movie spoke German. Anyway, well, maybe it's German and Polish. Anyway, the subtitles were there, so I wasn't really paying attention to the logos at this point because the message of the movie was crucial. And that is, if you, again, with the slave master narrative, and even what's his face, who's probably a total behind the scenes, touched on this in Django. I probably fucked that pronunciation up royally. But anyway, so the one with Jamie Foxx and with Samuel Jackson and DiCaprio and the really talented guy that played the Nazi, and I don't know. I try to put that crap out of my mind because the guy who made the movies is obviously not okay. Anyway, but it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure it's classified as Stockholm Syndrome, but there's a certain mechanism that you can trigger in that. And there's the Mannheim research experiment that they did where they took a bunch of Joe Schmoes, college students with no degree in anything yet, and put half of them in white coats, and the other half were to be the test subjects. And so the test subjects didn't know that the white coats were not white coats with degrees. They were just human beings in white coats following orders from the other white coats, the actual white coats with degrees. And the fake white coats were instructed to tell the civilian that behind that wall over there is a person who's answering questions on this testing, and every time they get an answer wrong, you zap them. And the person gets electrocuted. Okay, so these civilians are like, okay, this is for science. I don't know if they were told if they were getting paid. I probably should have double-checked that. You can go double-check it, because it's a fascinating, albeit disgusting, research. But the civilians followed the white coat instructions. So they're sitting there doing their thing. This is bad, guys. And they're listening to the screams of the people who are getting zapped. It's pretty bad. It's brutal. And there are a few instances where they took, and again, the person who is supposedly in the room getting zapped is not. It's just recorded screams coming from whatever. Or the person is told to scream on the other side of the wall. And again, they keep telling the civilians, the fake Nazi whitecoats, just fake whitecoats, turning up the dial on the amount of electricity that's going to be flowing into this other human being. And they keep listening and following directions. And there's like a kill point there. And many of them decided that they would turn the thing all the way up and kill the person. And that tells you all you need to know about the human race, boys and girls. That's where we're at, okay? Modus operandi. As long as you know that, you can make good decisions, sort of. So you understand that this is not conducive to any sort of functional ecosystem that would thrive in any circumstance, okay? So the paradigm we have been in for however many thousands of years is that of utter and complete destruction at any cost, because authorities say so, and the authorities are now going to be in a lot of trouble. Because they haven't been having anybody's best interests, even their own best interests at heart, for a long, long time. This is the entire premise of the foundation of patriarchy. Ain't nobody winning. Nobody's winning. You can have all the pentacles in the world, and those people will still tell you they are so unfulfilled. The guy, there's some rich, creepy dude, and I think he's dead now, don't quote me. I think he's one of the Rothschilds. He had 13 heart transplants. Motherfucker, you go through one, you're done. So 13. That tells you everything you need to know about this sort of paradigm. This is completely shit, and it will shit out because you're shitting on it. Okay? This doesn't get filled. Your life goes to shit. I don't know why we have to. Hi, baby. Hi, Sally. Was you napping? Oh, you was out like a light. I'm sorry, baby. Boom, done. Right? It's just a fact of life. You need that companionship. You need that connection. And we've just totally sabotaged that, thinking, oh, if we can just get pentacles, if I can just get accolades, if I can just suck the life force out of somebody the fuck else, I'll feel better. And no, you won't. And that's not how it works. Okay, so when you begin to understand that, like, this whole system is parasitic, you begin to understand and look at the people doing the parasiting, the sucking out of the energetic life force. That life force does not last very long. A good example, like a good metaphor for this, would be Stardust, the movie with Claire Danes and Michelle Pfeiffer. I know. Ew, lady, how do you memorize it? Well, fuck it. It was a really good movie. Okay, I like that movie. It was a good movie. It was really cute. But you don't get you might get the heart of the star or whatever, but it's going to fade so fast. And then you're going to need more. It's just like a drug. And this is why the narcissists are like, constantly getting the straws out. It's because they're not doing the inner work because it's too painful for them to do that. No, they're just cowards. They were raised to be enabled little cowards, and they do not have the foresight for nothing. And you're talking about the higher ups, okay? These are the people that have access to all the knowledge on the planet, all of it. Nothing is inhibited or preserved from them at all. They have free get-go. In fact, they probably have personal tutors that are like, all right, we're going to learn about this secret society's roots and origins. We're going to learn about this particular type of blah, 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 blah. Again, these people are filled to the brim with knowledge, and they haven't a lick of wisdom. Not one fucking lick. Not one. Because they cannot, for the life of them, get down to a rubber meets the road level to where they're comprehending what they're doing. They have no concept. And this is why the Y chromosome experiment is failing so horrifically. Is because nobody is taking that rubber to the road and assessing the consequences, okay, of the snake eating its own tail. Because that's all that is. It's the snake eating its own tail. Okay. Marriage, employment, pet ownership. That's something I'm willing to step into, though, because albeit how precious they are. I mean, serious business. China has waged war, okay, via the Shih Tzu, okay? And you might laugh at this. You might laugh at this and find it hilarious. But I am telling you, this creature here rules my life. It's literally freaking emotional warfare. You think it's funny. I know you're laughing. You think it's funny. You think it's hilarious. This is China's failed attempt at taking over the world. And albeit I am so glad to be taken over by China, taking over the world. But this is how it operates, though. This is like, you see how this is working right now? I'm trying to give you information. And he's like, no, without me or not. And I'm like, okay. I had to leave and go somewhere and come back, and then I gotta leave again later. And I'm not gonna be able to take him with me, and he is gonna be livid with me. And I'm gonna be in debt to him. I'm gonna have to bring him home goodies. Do you understand? This is what I'm talking about. This is the slave master narrative, okay? Albeit I am happy to do this. Oh, okay. So there's still it's joyful dynamic. It is, because he does fill my cup and he brings me so much warmth and comfort and support and joy. It's ridiculous, okay? Because that's just how dogs operate. They are endless supplies of beautiful, magnificent, unconditional love. And all I want to do is give him back all the things. All the freaking things, dude. All the things. This is why women and dogs are like, they're just two peas in a pod. They're just two peas in a pod because they're constantly giving to each other. Constantly. And that's a healthy dynamic. That is a healthy dynamic. I want to see you happy and filled with joy and love and comfort and bliss and whatever else. So you can sit in my lap or wherever the fuck you want. So, but they give back. If men were to fucking turn their ship around, they would have to like start studying dogs' behavior, legit. And I don't think it's possible for just ship to get turned around. But hey, mothership is coming down for your asses anyway. I can't help that. Anyway, so this is a dynamic that's semi-slave master. Okay. Now, granted, I could choose to go the not so nice route, right? You always have that choice, in which case you become the master and they are the slave. And there's an equal dynamic that happens, like if you use a dog for hunting and whatever else, which is their intended purpose, or protection, which, he's a good alarm bell and he will get vicious. And it's mostly play. Excuse me. But he does have, this great purpose of lifting my spirits every second of the day. Legit. Not even... And that's the thing, is like, people who don't allow their spirits to be lifted and they think it's pish posh and they think it's whatnot, those are the empty shells that will become the Agent Smiths immediately. This is why you have to steer clear of people who don't like animals of any kind. Snakes, spiders, bats, whatever. Those people are scared of their inner world. Okay. Any animal. It doesn't matter. If you're scared of spiders, if you're scared of snakes, what's another common one? Rats. Whatever it is, you are still demonizing the ecosystem that you're supposed to be thriving and in commune with, I want to say. You're supposed to be part of that ecosystem of life, and you're supposed to be contributing to that. So if you're shying away from any aspect of it, you have serious inner work to be done. And some people will say that there's just, there's people that have completely checked out and they're not existent. person character, NPC, I think is what they call them. I'm not up on this. I don't play video games, but like that makes sense. I mean, I have played video games in the past. I have done it. It's just, and I know what a non-person character is, so I understand the concept completely. But that would be an accurate representation of their non-person players. So when you're in that mode of being a non-person character or whatever, and a lot of people do not progress past age 9 mentally. They learn the ropes, they follow the rules, and they're just on autopilot after that. They're just following the instructions that they're given and doing the thing, okay? Which makes it super easy for any media or propaganda system to come in and infiltrate that person and drive them like a weapon towards whatever. Okay, so, and what does that mean? What does that mean for the, what do you call it? The receptivity of enlightenment. What does that mean for the outcome of humanity if you can't see the fact that what you're doing is kind of like blind? What does that mean? How is that rubber going to meet the road? Do you understand? So we're being manipulated right now with this. Oh, how long we got? Okay, so we're being manipulated by that weird dude who said the thing that was really bad. And, there's some people echoing that the tater tots and whatever else are, getting on board with it and whatever else. So you have to understand that they already know they've lost. They would not be trying to drag us down if they knew they had a winning chance. They'd shut the fuck up and just play silent. Okay? You have to understand that 70%, at least in the U.S., 70% of all homeowners are female. They're barking. They're just barking. They're just barking. Let them bark. We already won. We already won. The Y chromosomes are going extinct. We own a lot of the property. No. And that's the problem, is like, yes, Germany, Japan, China, and a few other countries have purchased significant amounts of business and land in the U.S. But unless they're female, it's not going to matter. So we're moving towards the matriarchal process, and they're just putting up a hissy fit. This is a spit polish on the army. They've been on their knees praying for 2,000 years. We are the second coming, sort of. I mean, unless you look at the Greek, and then that would be Epstein. That was the second coming, and he was not very successful in taking down the bads. So, being that their whole entire narrative has fallen apart and failing miserably, this is how you create an army, though. I mean, if you think about it, look at Spartans. This is how they create an army. You brutalize the shit out of the people immediately when they're young. And this is religion's game. This is religion's modus operandi. You treat the women and children like they're fifth-class citizens, and they'll just fall in line. This is slave master narrative at its finest. When you're in the monotheist, look at the women walking around, covering this up, covering that up. Docile and whatever you say, schnuggums. And the problem with that is, though, there's a difficult process that people don't seem to grasp. It's consequences of the action. So when you understand that you're being controlled and manipulated on a subconscious level, your subconscious rules your life, because the Regale people, the binding spell religious monotheistics, are not allowed to look at their shadow. They're not allowed. Okay, all they have is, what do they call them? Apologists. That's their shadow work. That's their box That's their modus operandi for shadow work. So when you're dealing with people that are like, everything bad is on the outside of me, and you worship the devil because you don't believe what I do. Okay, that's fine for you. But when it comes down to the Saturn return or whatever it is in your natal chart, this is why people go out and buy Porsches and quit their jobs, blah, 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 blah. What do they call it? Midlife crisis? Yeah. So the generations after, like, Gen X, and I'm an elder millennial, if you will, after Gen X have skipped the midlife crisis and gone straight into, like, knitting, crocheting, gardening. We skipped that whole thing because, like, we're like, okay, we did the inner work. We're not scared of ourselves. We're not terrified. We don't feel like there's some sort of weird life purpose that we miss because we already are fulfilling it. We didn't skip the boat. We did not dodge, our inner self. We have called our spirit and our souls back into our existence, okay? And we have, in turn, found peace and joy in simply existing in a co-creative manner that's joyful and peaceful. Where are we at? Ooh, sweet. This one feels like it's dragging on. All right, so that's the matriarchal way, though. That's already stepping in. These, and that, again, that's the rubber meeting the road when you do the inner work. So what's the result of that? What's the result of all this inner work of learning to live in that matriarchal system? Learning to let the patriarchy just fall off, and we just got to stop partaking is really the essence of it. If you stop paying attention to it, build something else, we'll be much better off. But what's the reality of what's happening right now internally? Okay, the Y chromosomes are going extinct, so we're going to go back to frog and chicken DNA. So all this inner shadow work that they've been demonizing is actually a coming together of our system, because in medicinal research, when you get into naturopathy, homeopathy, ancient medicine, there's a feminine and masculine body parts. So you have two ears, one's feminine, one's masculine. You have two kidneys. Ears and kidneys are directly connected. So you have a masculine and feminine kidney, masculine, feminine lung, masculine, feminine eye, nostrils, hands, feet. Anything that has pairs is masculine and feminine, and they're existing in the same creature. Okay, that's how we originated. Okay, so this modus operandi of understanding that there's going to be a really, really hard rubber that meets this road. And, unfortunately, because the patriarchy took it so extreme to the toxic level of enslavement, it became basically what it is right now. And it always was that way. Greeks didn't have it right either. We can't go back to that either, because the Y chromosomes are going away, and so we need to start researching what it's like to be in a matriarchal system, because that's what's going to rule after this. There's going to be no feminine, no masculine aspects. So there's going to be no need for a slave master narrative. We're going to come together in these little ecosystems in our local community, especially when Pluto moves into Aquarius here on the 19th. So this is the modus operandi we're going to kind of start moving into. And it's going to take a while to get there, but if you can do the research on the matriarchy versus the patriarchy and what you can switch up and start running community meetings and whatever else, there is a global community, whatchamacallit, and Pam Gregory, I think, posted it on one of her videos. I'll see if I can find it. I think I posted it to you guys already, just as a random post. And I'll see if you want to click on my whatchamacallit and look at my posts Pam Gregory, but I'll see if I can go find it again. I can't remember which one it is, but it's really great episode to watch. Super transformative, because it's looking at all the aspects in that tapestry that's being woven for us to keep warm with in the future. So I hope this is going to navigate you a little bit easier through these transitions, because it will look like it's hellacious. It will look like that. But you have to understand, if we don't expose the toxicity and it just gently fades away into the night, if we don't dig that up and look at it and see how that rubber meets the road, we're going to carry that toxicity with us into the future. And this is a purge. Probably shouldn't have used that word, but so this is an understanding that the monetary system is going away, the patriarchal system is going away, and we have to let it go with grace. And it doesn't matter what the what the guys want us to think about it. It's all about, they are pissed off they lost the war, or their failed science experiment, whatever you want to call it, okay? And it's a difficult thing to process, and I feel somewhat sympathetic towards them, because they didn't know. They didn't know. They had no freaking concept that what they were born with was literally going to be their undoing. And some have done really good with it, and some have created a better world for us. There's no doubt about that. And some are just Agent Smiths under programming. Okay? And the same could be said for females. There's that Stockholm syndrome where you give them just a little bit more privilege, but now they're finding out they didn't have that privilege in the first place. They never had it. It was just an illusion. They don't have control. And this is what the Agent Orange voters are figuring out right now. So the power of illusion, or the illusion of power that was given to the people that were decided to step into an empty shell without seeing how that rubber meets the road, is now going to be a stepping stone and a learning lesson and whatever else. But the fate still isn't going to change. We're just going to have to take a bypass to to a matriarchal system. And he is appointing quite a few females, which will give the appearance of matriarchal, but it's not going to be the actual authentic. So we, with Pluto moving into Aquarius, now have that local system that we can start cultivating for ourselves and our neighbors and our loved ones and whatever else. And that's going to be difficult, but I think it's going to come. Mwah.